Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Agent Psycho. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the effects of the Combat Arms quote-unquote reboot operation. For those guys who don't know, the Combat Arms reboot is it's basically a gameplay and mechanics overhaul change that is being set in place and developed. Pushed through, basically whatever you want to call it, by the CA development team or Nexon, basically, and but what they're doing is basically trying to make Combat Arms a more skill-based and more fair game to its players. And some of the changes that they made were things that I don't agree with, some other things that I do agree with, and I personally think it should have done a lot earlier than this, but oh well, better late than never. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started on talking about it. So, for those who didn't know, again, Combat Arms Reboot started around a month ago. It should be a month by now. And what they've done is, first of all, they started off with, rebalancing, or they say rebalancing. They've really changed the way that you basically play the game in terms of EXP and GP. So what they've done is they've gotten rid of all your GP and EXP passes, except what the caveat to this is that they did hand out EXP 200% EXP passes if you on like a particular hotshot event. I think it was you had to log in between 5:30 and something like that. A really narrow time frame to get like 30 or so 200% bonus EXP passes. But with the exception of that, Combat Arms no longer has any active passes of that sort anymore. They've basically done away with it, and what they've done instead is they've increased the amount of GP that you acquire by playing, basically by playing games and whatnot. So just to cover that a little bit. I personally don't really care because, first of all, my main account is a GOA, 5-star. So personally, EXP doesn't really matter to me anymore. I've already reached the top level that there is in the game, and not having any more EXP passes really doesn't bother me. It'll probably bother a lot of people, a lot of other people who want to rank up fast, power level, whatever. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't really care about it. Maybe on my second account it might bother me a little bit because I don't rank up as fast, but it's whatever. More videos for me, better for you guys as well because you have more things to watch. But overall, EXP side of things, don't really care. GP, however, it does affect me quite a bit because one of the things, or some of the other things that they've done as well to kind of rebalance, quote unquote, the GP management system in Combat Arms is that previously you were able to sell back NX weapons, like, for example, people like me who have opened up a lot of NX cases, or the missed cases in the past, and have all these weapons sitting around in my inbox, we could just sell them back straight out of our inbox, or if we had activated, then we could sell them back as well in exchange for GP. However, they have basically removed that feature, so now I basically have a lot of, I don't want to say useless, but there are a lot of guns that I would have liked to sell back if I had known that Nexon would have pushed out an update like this. So personally, yeah, it might suck for me because now I no longer have an easy access to GP anymore. But as I mentioned before, because Nexon increased the outrate or the output of GP every time you play a game or whatever, it's very easy for me now to gain a lot of GP within like 2-3 hours. I sit down and play for 2 or 3 hours. I get anywhere from 6k to 8k, maybe even 10k GP if I get a lot of good games in. If I go 30 and 10, put down some really high scores in elim games, I get a lot of GP. So in the end, it doesn't really matter for me too much, though. It does kind of, I don't want to say it pisses me off, but it does suck that now I can't really sell back guns that I don't think I'll, really use anymore. Now that we've talked about that for enough, basically that was what they were really emphasizing with the last, with their first, set of reboot updates, so to say. Afterwards, what I've really thought they've done, or what from what I can see, is that now with the July 6th anniversary sales, instead of putting out a lot of NX sales, which is what traditionally they've really done year after year, and when it came around for CA's anniversary, which is typically around in July, instead what they've done is they've released a lot of GP perms, which they've done before, obviously. They've sold the L9, G36 UMP for perm at first, then they expanded it to other assault rifles. Well, I shouldn't say just assault rifles, but other the GP weapons as well. Now they're really heavily emphasizing GP perms, and from a gameplay standpoint, from like a a gameplay mechanic, just as a guy who wants combat arms to be thriving and whatever, I think this is the right choice. I think that encouraging GP perms means that it rewards the people who rely only on GP, who have never really spent any money on the game. Because to be honest with you, yeah, free-to-play games do rely on microtransactions to basically support themselves, support the development team, support the company. Nexon in this case, but Combat Arms has developed a very, let's be honest here, has developed a very bad reputation of being a very big cash cow. Nexon's pretty infamous for putting out really good big sales at times like these, and just basically cashing in on all these micro DLC, or I almost said DLCs, microtransactions. Now they've basically said that, hey, look, we don't really want to step down that road any longer, or not for now anyway. We don't know what they'll do in the future, but for now it seems like it's going to be this way. But we don't want to, or we think that pushing NX sales is, we've done enough of that. So we're going to roll out GP perms and encourage people to play the game more and gain more GP, and then buy GP perms, which, a lot of the GP perm weapons that they're putting out for sale, for permanent purchase, obviously, are really good. They've been selling the Colt 38 Special, which is a really good revolver. It's got, it's a strong 2-shot kill up close, and it's got double the rate of fire compared to most standard revolvers. They're selling stuff like, I think they sold the Uzi Metal for perm, which is a very good submachine gun, a very buffed version of the original Uzi, which I'm really glad they did, because I have a perm now. Yeah, what they do. But the point is that they're straying away from NX sales, and they're concentrating on, emphasizing the more not so pay to win aspects of the game. And this is what I'm trying to say. So that's what I've been noticing with the 6th anniversary sales so far. Granted, a lot of people expecting Nexon to follow the trend of putting out a lot of big NX sales every time their anniversary comes around, have been very disappointed with the sales that that they basically gave us. And I completely understand, some people did want to take advantage of, drastically reduced prices to buy a lot of NX perms or whatever. Unfortunately, guys, it doesn't really seem like it's your year. So I guess you should hold on to that money if you can, and just wait for Black Friday to come around. I'm sure they'll still be sticking to their tradition of, putting out a lot of discounts for Black Friday, which is down in November. It's only like 3-4 months, so I think you guys can wait until then. Now, fast forward to today, actually, they've, according to the Combat Arms main page on their website, they've just recently put out a post that explains more of what they're trying to do with the reboot system, and a lot of these changes I'm really looking forward to, because I think they're really good. In fact, some of them, like I mentioned before at the start of this video, they should have done a lot earlier, to be completely honest, but whatever. Let's get to chase here. And so basically what they've said is they're going to further update the economy, which is, again, it seems like they're really trying to emphasize with the reboot so far. Sorry for the cut in the video there. If you do hear a cut, then I do apologize. I was just interrupted briefly, but in the meantime, because I think I just lost where I was going with it, I'm just gonna go straight off what the main page says regarding the reboot changes. So apparently these are the previous economy updates that they've rolled through with the reboot operation. So if you guys didn't know, I'm sure you guys already know this by now, but just to recap, they've changed the gear point system, where you get, basically, I mentioned before, you gain more GP when you play the game. They've changed the high sec cases, which is something I didn't mention. They've removed the black high sec and the gray high sec, I think they were, and instead they've just basically rolled them into one. There's just only one high sec case, and there's only one set of keys that you can actually buy with either with GP or NX at your discretion, so that you don't need to worry about, oh, I can't open black cases because I don't have NX to buy black keys. So Nexon decided, that's not really what we want. We feel that's just, too segregating, I guess is a word. I don't really know what else to say. So we're just basically going to roll into one, and if you want to use NX, that's fine. If you want to use GP, that's better too. So, that's really great change that I feel that that Nexon has made regarding the high sec cases. Personally, I've never really opened very many of them, unless I really had to, but, I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are fans of opening ISEC cases, so the more they can use GP instead of NX, the better, right? So there you go. They've also mentioned that they are going to basically revamp the weapon renewal kits, that a lot of you guys may know and use if you guys are heavy NX users, to basically make it so that it's more cost efficient. So what that exactly means, I'm not really too sure. I haven't really checked out any of the new weapon renewal cases if they've been released anyway yet. So I can't really say for sure if they've been drastically improved or only slightly improved, but let's take Nexon's word for it, and let's hope that they are better if and when they do come out, if they haven't done so already. And finally, the change that they have made is that, or the last of the changes that they have made already is that they've removed a TAU system, which I feel like it was a really great system because it basically rewarded people who spent the time and energy to gain all 4 weapons of whatever TAU family that Nexon released. So far, the ones that we do know of, or the ones that they have released, are the M417, the L85A1, and the M60. And personally, I have received all 3, or I have obtained all 3 TAU families, all of them in their entirety. So I guess it's great for me, right? But even if you weren't really too keen on getting all 4 variants, it was still really easy to get the first 3. I mean, that's only like maybe a few days worth of effort, and all of a sudden you have 3 free weapons that you basically got for basically for free, essentially, except just your time. All you need to do was get 100 nanotech, I think, pieces. I don't know exactly what they're called, but you had to get only 100 nanotechs to get started, and that's only like 2 rolls or a couple rolls on the Wheel of Fate, and that's all you really need to do. And the only real hard part was obviously getting the whole permanent NX rare variants with the M417SB, the L85A1 mod camo, and the M6E4 steel. But you really didn't need to get those. If you really wanted to, then it was, all you need to do is just grind out those those nanotech dossiers in order to forge them into the NX rares. But if you really didn't want to get those, then the first 3 were really, really easy. So there was really no reason why you shouldn't get those 3 weapons. They're basically for free anyway, so why not, right? So the fact that Nexon is planning to do away with the TAU system entirely kind of saddens me, because it basically, they were basically free weapons for everyone. Pretty good weapons too, mind you. It's not like something ridiculous like G3, which obviously would be kind of concerning if they actually made that into a TAU. But the M417, the L85 families are really good, and the M60s are really good machine guns as well. I mean, by no means were they the best, but having that for free is obviously a really, really great thing to have. So, I'll be missing the TAU system, but I can see why Nexon would like to get rid of it, because obviously if they hand out too many free weapons, then it's kind of like, well, what's the point of that? So now let's go on to discuss what Nexon is planning to do, or the ones that they're going to be implementing very soon. So further down, it says new economy updates, and thank God the one-day rentals are actually returning. For those guys who have played back in the good old days when Nexon sold guns, or allowed you to buy guns for one-day durations at very cheap prices, or at least a lot cheaper than they were for 7 days, or 30 days or whatever. Those times were actually really, really great, because for people like me, I basically got myself broke, like fucking bankrupt. I went down all the way to 6k GP, trying to make that top 10 snipers video, because basically I had to buy every single one of those snipers, those GP snipers I didn't have, for 7 days straight, and oftentimes they can reach up to 10k GP a piece for 7 days. So having the one-day rentals come back is a really, really great thing, because now people can actually play day to day, and a lot of people who couldn't really afford the time to play combat arms, like every single day for a couple hours each, buying GP guns 7 days at a time was kind of painful, because there wasn't really a way for them to gain back that GP at the end, when they were done playing and couldn't play for another couple days more. So the fact that they're coming back with the one-day rentals is a very, very good thing, because not only will people like me appreciate that, because I don't have to waste all my freaking GP to buy these weapons that I'm only ever gonna use like once for like a gameplay and not really use anymore, because I have so many other guns I need to use. But also the guys guys who aren't really necessarily like me, who have all the time in the world to play Combat Arms as much as they want, can actually, you know, sit back and relax and not have to worry about, oh my god, I need to get back all this GP, otherwise I'm going to run myself broke. Very good news, and honestly, this is one of those things that I feel like Nexon should have really done this. Like, it should never really remove to begin with. Like, why they would remove one-day rentals, I have no idea. I have no idea. My personal theory is that they were trying to screw Combat Arms players into, you know, relying on NX more, which is obviously a really big scumbag move by Nexon. But the fact that they're coming back with it is a really good thing. Another thing that this feature actually surprised me a lot when I first read of this. They're actually going to plan on putting out select weapons for free weapon previews. It says, quote-unquote, free weapons are being added to the game for you to preview. These weapons will be available for all players to fight with for a limited duration. They will be pulled from our entire pool of available weapons and will be rotated on a consistent schedule set by the Combat Arms dev team. This is a really great feature in my opinion. You get free weapons from a select small group of weapons that, you know, the guys on the Combat Arms team select from, I guess, I'm assuming it's going to be like a week-long schedule. Maybe it can be a month-long. I'd say a month, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like a week-by-week rotation. But this is great because this means that anyone can use can get to have a chance to use those NX guns that they've always wanted to try out but never really had the chance to, because they never really, you know, they can't buy NX all the time. Maybe if you live in Australia, it's hard to gain access to NX all the time, and it's just overall it's going to be a great experience for everyone because it'll level the playing field and basically give a lot of firepower, additional firepower, I should say, to players. I mean, the first sign that we saw of this was the arms race, where, you know, I think with the last update, Nexon said, you know what, we're going to make every single weapon, or I think a lot of weapons, basically NX guns, so that everyone can use those NX guns. But the problem with that is obviously you could only use them in arms race, and after you get, you know, the amount of kills that you need to get in order to progress to the next weapon, you know, you don't have that weapon anymore. So it's kind of like, well, you know, you had your fun, you know, haha, and now you need to go on to the next one. With this one, or with this free weapon trials thing, I really like it because from a gameplay standpoint, you really do kind of spread the wealth, so to say, and you know, basically make it fair to everyone and let everyone use the kinds of weapons that other people have been using for a really long time. So obviously this might not be great news to everyone, because some people might take it as, oh, you know, you're basically putting overpowered guns in the hands of noobs, so now all of a sudden it's going to be really hard to do well anymore. Well, to be honest, that's kind of your own problem. You can't deal with other people using NX weapons too, so screw you, get used to it. So I think personally this is a really great system, or a really great feature that they're going to be putting in very soon, so I look forward to seeing what kinds of weapons, or exactly how they're going to go about doing this. Obviously there is a lot of room for error, or I shouldn't say that, there's a lot of ways that they can screw this up. Hopefully they don't screw up too badly, or hopefully they don't screw up at all, because I can see a lot of ways how this can go very wrong very fast, but hopefully turn out with this one. I don't really sound too encouraging there, do I? But whatever, let's move on. The pricing overhaul is the last feature that is on the new economy updates by the ones that are going to come very soon, and it says, quote unquote, to further improve the Emporium, we will be performing an audit on all items to better provide better value for you. Basically what they're saying is they're going to be discounting a lot, or basically on all the items in the shop. Obviously, you guys know how damn expensive 7-day guns are, especially the ones that are GP rare and can go up to like 10k GP for 7 days. You know, that's pretty fucking ridiculous. Not a lot of people have room to spend that kind of money all the time, unless you're someone who has millions of GP by selling back all your freaking weapons, like I did. But I spend all my money buying, you know, GP perms, so fuck me, right? But anyways, this is very good as well, because they'll be making items cheaper and more accessible to a lot more people who are not inclined to spend as much GP, because simply because of the fact that it just costs too damn much. So obviously this is a very good change, and everyone will be happy with discounted prices. You can't really go wrong with, you know, less prices, you know, unless of course they discount them too much, by which obviously there might be an influx of really strong guns in the market, but let's hope that they don't do anything stupid like that. And under the future economy updates section of the of this article, they do say that they're going to be basically, I guess, revamping how you manage your inventory, because well, let's just read it. Quote unquote, with the overhauled weapon acquisition, the Common Arms team wanted to offer a means for you to free up space in your inventory without simply discarding unused items. This pertains to me and a lot of people in particular. To that end, we plan on integrating a system that will allow you to trade in unwanted weapons that will be subsequently be converted into new weapons. Very, very good system, or of something that catches my eye very, very much. With the system, we want to provide you with more control and more choices for replacing old items, and we will be providing more detailed information about the specifics of this system as we approach its release. So, this is kind of like an alternative to the sellback system. Obviously, Nexon has done away with the sellback system, so obviously I can't really, sell back weapons anymore. But this is very good for me, because now I can potentially have the chance to trade in, any 7-day weapon that I have sitting around my inbox that I'm not really using and I don't really have a good reason to use, and instead trade in for an NX weapon that I might not have perm. For example, I had to drop 5k NX to buy an L115A2, or sorry, an L115A3, in order to forge it into the S50 musket, so I could use that gameplay as part of my top 10 snipers video. So if they had in the future, if I were to be in the same situation as that, what I would instead do is I'd imagine I can just activate a 7-day weapon, like a random 7-day NX standard weapon from my inventory, or from my inbox inventory, whatever you want to call it, and I can just go into the shop, trade in for whatever gun I need to use for a gameplay or whatever, if I'm making a video on it, specifically on that weapon. Then I can just trade it in, and boom, I have it. I don't need to spend any more additional NX in order to gain the NX standard weapon or whatever that I'm trying to buy, and waste more money on it, when I could simply just trade in one of the guns I already have and not using, in my inventory or whatever, and, get back something for absolutely free. So that is obviously going to be a very, very good system. It's going to be an adequate, I would say, in my opinion, an adequate alternative to the sellback system that we had previously, and which Nexon had done away with. So I'm really looking forward to all these changes that Nexon is making to the reboot system, and hopefully you guys share the same opinions. If you guys don't, please let me know what you think Nexon, or what your opinions are of these new economy updates. Like I said before in my previous video regarding the reboot operation, I believe that I did mention that I believe Nexon should fix the servers, fix the lag, fix the gameplay issues with the game first, and then concentrate on the economy and other, I guess, more quote-unquote trivial features of the game. But, for what these are, I will take these new features. A lot of these features are really, really good. I agree with the vast majority of them. Maybe there are some things that I can see that will go wrong here or there, or maybe there are some things that I don't really agree with. The biggest one being the TAU removal. I really do miss that, because I basically got, what, 1, 2, 3... I got like 12 weapons for perm for free. Well, I had to spend a couple, like 10k NX for the NX dossiers, because that's how you got the shortcut. But, in the grand scheme of things, they're all permanent weapons, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I'll be missing the removal of the, or I'll be missing the TU system. But besides that, everything else that they've mentioned, I believe I do heavily agree with, and I'm looking forward to when they will actually roll those, or implement those features. So thank you guys very much for watching. I know this has been a very long commentary, but hopefully you guys have stuck it through the end, and let me guys know what you guys think. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, thank you guys very much for listening, and we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.